You're driving along the road when you come to a stop and see flashing red and blue lights in the distance. As you pass through, you see a horrific car accident. Later on that night, you're watching the 11 o'clock news, and you learn that that accident scene you passed claimed the life of a 22-year-old college student. What you did not know is that her life saved 6 others. Her heart went to a 13-year-old boy with heart failure. Her lung to a 45-year-old woman who's never smoked. Her kidney went to a 21-year-old who suffered a horrible infection that claimed his own. Her skin went to a 4-year-old girl who was trapped in a burning house. Her corneas to a woman who thought she'd never see the world again, and her liver to a father of 3. As a family member of someone currently awaiting a kidney transplant, I feel that it is important to educate others on what exactly organ donation is, and to help educate about the common myths associated with it. Organ donation is a subject that many of us lack knowledge on, and by understanding more about the process, we can help answer basic questions for others and ourselves. Today, I will be informing you about organ donation history, the steps and criteria for both donors and recipients, the common myths, and your local affiliates. First, we'll learn about the history. The history of organ and tissue transplants dates back to prehistoric times. According to Koch, Cornell, and Howard, authors of the scholarly article History of Deceased Organ Donation, Transplantation, and Organ Procurement Organizations, teeth, bone, and skin transplantation occurred in prehistoric times. Transplantation of teeth between individuals has been described in ancient Egypt, Greece, Rome, and Ottoman Empire. In the early 1900s, kidney transplants were the most common organ transplants performed between human donors. In the early 1960s, several transplants were established throughout the United States, and the first heart transplant was performed by Christian Barnard in 1967. The next point we will discuss involves the general process of organ donation and criteria required for both the donor and recipient. Craig Dury outlines the 6 steps involved with becoming an eligible donor in his article. The first step, referral, is typically initiated when a person is declared brain dead, pronounced dead, or being mechanically ventilated when death is near. Anyone can refer potential donors, but typically the hospital staff does it. Organ transplant coordinators are employed by an OPO and do the further evaluation. Step 2 is the potential donor evaluation. Coordinator requests basic information about the donor, including their age, gender, neurological status, and a brief medical history. There's only few factors that will further evaluation, that will halt the further evaluation of a potential donor, and that is a known positive HIV status or the presence of metastatic cancer. Step 3 and 4 involves the direct evaluation and the family approach. They will do a direct evaluation of the medical status, get more labs and tests on the current organ functions, and then the physician and the coordinator will begin speaking with families if they believe that candidate can be an organ donor. If the family decides to donate anything, their consent is received. Step 5 is donor management and organ allocation. That's when the coordinators begin working at the top of the waiting list, and they do matches based on blood type, size, how far they have to go, and the blood screening. Step 6 is preserving the organ. The organ is preserved and staff arrives to retrieve it, and then they take it to the OR where a team of trained professionals, including transplant coordinators, begin the process. How many lives can one donor save? According to CODA, Kentucky Organ Donor Affiliation, one eligible donor can potentially save or enhance the lives of up to 50 individuals. The recipients must go through a series of tests to determine whether their body will be acceptable of a new organ. For vital organs, many physicians require their patients to stop smoking. For example, my uncle, in order to be on the kidney transplant, he had to quit smoking and now gets his nicotine regularly checked to make sure he's compliant. I will now inform you about some common heard myths associated with organ donation and who to go to for your local resource. There are many myths associated with organ transplantation. Common myths include believing that extra efforts will not be performed to save your life if you're an organ donor. That's not true because the physician's #1 priority is doing everything they can to save your life first. And the only time they won't do anything is if you have a legally do not resuscitate order. Also, some people believe that you won't be able to have an open casket, which is also not true. Today, there's a shortage of organs available, and local affiliates in the state work to increase awareness regarding organ donation. In Kentucky, CODA strives to educate individuals regarding the process and the criteria. CODA currently serves the state of Kentucky, 4 counties in southern Indiana, and 2 counties in West Virginia. According to Donate Life America, as of October of 2013, more than 120,000 men, women, and children are currently awaiting an organ transplant in America. Unfortunately, many people will die waiting for a transplant because we simply don't have enough donors. In conclusion, today we have learned about organ donation, we have reviewed a brief history, the criteria and steps, common myths, and local affiliates. As we reflect back on what we have learned, we think about that tragic accident that I told you about earlier. We are thankful, hopeful, and determined to educate those we love.